Well, thank you. I'm glad you didn't ask me to talk about 1960 or pre-1960. I will simply tell you that I was not here then, so so whatever I was telling you was just what I read from books. But you are telling me to talk about the present. Yes, as a journalist, I remember that almost every October 1, we will lament. I wrote a column, and whenever it was October 1 or that season, like the others, I would lament about the state of the country. But now that I work in government, and in a progressive-minded government, yes, I would say there will still be lamentations in the land. A good number of people are still lamenting. But then, things are not as dolorous, as doomsday as they used to be. We lamented in the past because we didn't see hope in the horizon. I like the theme of your discussion, recursive, resilient, and rising. If you ask me, Nigeria is truly rising. It's rising. And you could see that, you could hear that, you could feel that from the broadcast of the president earlier today. If we lament, it is because maybe we don't have enough information, or we don't have all the information about what government is doing. But I can tell you, as day follows the night, that lamentation will end within the lifespan of this administration. Before it is 2019, we will have a lot of cause to rejoice, and what our elders have spoken about, the vision of the past, the vision of the founding fathers, we will see a good number of those things unfolding, and we will have cause to rejoice about the state of our country.
Many, I think the issue of rising and having hope is something that some still have a little bit of doubt about. When you say this, things are getting better, and you say there is hope for the people in the land, perhaps let's talk about specifics, more so now that you say it's because we don't have information. You are there to give us information. Perhaps you should tell us what exactly we haven't heard or we haven't seen that is making you have more hope than maybe the man watching now.
Yes, because Nigeria has always had fundamental problems. And those fundamental problems are being tackled headlong. Of course, you know, I think I heard somebody say earlier today, yes, on the platform, that Nigerians have one thing in common, and that thing was corruption. You know, the professor, the vice chancellor of the university from Benin who came, said that. But we know that that problem is being tackled headlong. And by the time corruption is tackled, if it cannot be eradicated, if it is controlled, you have more resources for development. Therefore, lamentations will not continue to be the order of the day in the country if corruption is checked and is reduced to the barest minimum. And this government is doing that. Another thing is hunger. You know, the noise all over the country now is we are hungry, we are hungry, we are hungry. The Yoruba people, I'm a Yoruba man, say when you remove lack of food from the trouble a man has, then his troubles are limited. And Nigeria is on the way to being able to feed herself. The president said it in his broadcast, and the groundwork has been laid. In another 2 years, by 2018, Nigeria will not have cause to import any grain again, any type of grains. It was said in that broadcast that we spend $2 billion to import rice. $2 billion. That money can be freed for other developmental areas. So, all the things that are fundamental problems in Nigeria, a mono economy that we had developed since I was in primary school, and by the way, that was well over 40 years ago. I've heard about diversification of the economy. Nothing got done. But this time, it's going to get done.
All right.
It's really going to get done. So the fundamental problems of the Nigerian nation are being tackled, they are being addressed, and before this administration will be done, we will have moved from the realm of promises to seeing concrete concrete development.
We'll come back to that as the program progresses. But let me ask Professor Ono, I mean, comparative politics, political economy, political theory, those are your area of specialization. And many will tell us in this country, look, we've theoretized for several times. We haven't seen the kind of results that your generation normally tell the younger ones what used to be at that time. What is wrong with our politics?
Let me begin this way. I think as a nation, as it were, I'm afraid that we are trying to avoid certain questions. And that issue is leadership. Let me begin this way. I don't know what much respect we have for history. The war ended in 1970. We have not addressed the end of the war or the impact of the war. That war produced special class of Nigerians. Nigerians who developed on what I call war economy. Contracts, supply military, whatever. By the time we were in 1970, 78, these were those who were producing to take over politics. By 1975, 78, before 79, they had been joined by retired military men. So by the time we are talking of the election of 1993 that was aborted, we had a coalition of retired military men in politics and Nigerians who could not account for their sources of income except contracts. Oh, I'm sorry, you know, under this condition, you go into self-censorship. Men whose jobs were nothing other than fraud. So by 1993, we had politicians who did not know how to plant, to be patient, to allow the crop to grow. So they had no culture of what it was to build.
Okay, Prof.
They are the Nigerians who are now managing the affairs of the nation.
We'll come back to this, but
so it's a problem.
Make no mistake about this. There's no question. There's no question that we avoid on this program and in this station, except maybe there are NTBBs, their regulation or not. But we'll come back and look at all of these issues and more in just a moment. Don't go away.